Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of my series, The Future Mind. And in today's episode, I want to speak about something that's been on my mind for the last several weeks, the Netflix show Adolescence. Now, many of you may have already watched the show. Many of you may be aware of what the show is all about. But for those of you who haven't heard about it, the show Adolescence is about the experience of a young boy, uh, 13 years of age, as he's growing up in a world where um, he is bullied by a girl and he's influenced by ideas of people who in recent years have been fanning the flames of misogyny, call it, and he feels compelled to take an action that changes the course of his life forever. So I'm hoping there are no spoilers there. The movie then jumps into what the actual experience of young boys is like, what the experience of online conversations is like, and how at that stage, simple acts of bullying can change the course of people's lifetime experience. Now, to be honest, part of me was just glad that I grew up in an era which was there was no online; it hadn't been invented, and even my kids grew up in an era where smartphones, a lot of the social media platforms, weren't as engaging, as all encompassing as they are today. So, but that aside, the show really delves deep. It's a brilliant show. Watch it if the topic interests you. It really takes a deep dive into what's changed in our society. And just as the conversation around, what does it mean to be a young girl is one that we're much more familiar with, the other conversation on what it means to be a young boy in an environment where, while women or young girls have found a voice, there haven't been as many, or maybe as much of a discovery of the new young male boys, call it. And I was wondering that this took me by surprise. It seemed to have taken a lot of people by surprise. But this is true of change in general. We don't quite see change in the moment that it's taking place. In fact, I was reading Black Swan just a few days ago, and in Black Swan, Nassim Taleb speaks about how when Jesus was actually alive, there are no Roman records that talk about Jesus. So just think how interesting that is. Here you have an individual who's going to change the course of history, change the course of culture, but in the moment, as he lived his years on earth, it's not that he was creating a splash. All of that happened much later. Um, I was just thinking that this is so interesting. We don't see change in the moment that it unfolds. And why is that? So I looked a little bit deeper into what's the psychology behind how we think and how has our evolution in some way almost programmed us to miss some of these signals. And guess what? That's true. It has. And let me explain why I say that. So, for those of you who have followed, scholars like Dan Kahneman, Tversky, and their work, you might know that we think in two ways. The first is automatic thinking. Lion comes, we know there's danger, escape. Car comes right in front of you, you know there's danger, escape. Uh, that instinct is one that we share with all animals around us, and it's automatic thinking. Now, automatic thinking works on pattern recognition. See pattern, know what it means before there's any opportunity to process, take action, and out. And it's this automatic thinking that has kept us safe for most of our evolutionary history. It's kept us out of danger. But one of the things about automatic thinking is that pattern recognition only works if it's a pattern you recognize. So if it's a new pattern, you don't recognize it, you don't see it. It's almost invisible to you because automatic thinking does not pick it up. Now, of course, some of you might be thinking, but what about other ways of thinking. I mean, surely humans have been so good at problem solving. I mean, we've built economies, societies, businesses, universities, filled up books, the internet, blah, blah, blah. So, how is it that as humans, we would not be able to see change as it is unfolding? And here's the challenge. By the way, if you've done that video, Invisible Gorilla, you will know exactly what I'm speaking about. So, for those of you who are not familiar with that, Invisible Gorilla was an experiment done in the late 90s, and it was a sort of path breaker in illustrating to most people, myself included, how is it that we actually pay attention. So what happens in this video is that there are a bunch of young people in black and white t-shirts playing basketball, throwing the ball. And if you're watching the video, you're asked to count the number of times people in white t-shirts pass the ball. While you're so focused doing that, a person in a gorilla costume comes on stage and walks across, and half of the people don't spot the man in the gorilla costume. By the way, that half included me. I did not see the person in the gorilla costume pass by. But what this experiment does is it highlights how our attention works. So let's say you're solving a high school math problem, integral calculus. Now, I mean, don't ask me. I can't remember anything about what it's all about, but let's say you do know how to solve it. Chances are you will be so engrossed in solving that problem that you will not notice anything that's happening around you unless it specifically grabs your attention. And that's the problem. Both the ways in which the human brain operates, automatic thinking or problem solving, are designed to filter out weak signals. So that's one of the challenges. Human beings evolved to be the most successful species on the planet precisely because we survived and we were able to solve problems, both side by side. And yet, our natural ways of thinking make us blind to weak signals, things that are happening in our peripheral vision, or maybe not even in our line of sight. And we fail to recognize that this might actually be the start of something that might be impacting our lives. And that's really at the heart of it. So I hope you found it useful. If you did, do keep watching our Future Mind series and do share this video with anyone who you think might be interested. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.